باش.
We see the Zushin band, the Lapu Lapu as well, which is, I thought it looked amazing yesterday.
Esmeralda is there if Onyx wants that to deal with the barrage.
They might just
Honestly,
match the lane.
even the Yuzong would be pretty okay here against Aurora.
My question is, are they doing something funky? I mean, that's my question on this. And I know it's going to be very clear probably after this that they're not. But Belleric EXP, I mean, it would be weird.
Yeah.
But if you get something that can win outside of that, that catches Aurora off guard, I'm just wondering if Onyx are trying to play this in a way where they surprise Aurora.
No, honestly, that's a good point because Belleric is not great if you're going up against a very fast EXP laner, right? Like a Benedetta, like a Lapu, but you're going up against a Barat, so you're equally slow. It makes it so that it's not a bad pick. So, yeah. Onyx can still flex the Belleric, honestly.
And you can pretty much say the same for the matchup in mid. If they really want to rotate faster and utilize their advantage, then maybe just put something alongside the Valentina that can just be as equally aggressive. But Aurora, pick up the Paquito since it wasn't.
They do.
The Luigi is the surprise here.
Actually, I really feel like if they pick up a Yuzong, they can win this matchup quite hard because it wins against the Barrage. And then the bad thing about the Louis is you have no dash. So once an EXP laner gets onto you, he's going to stay there forever.
Final pick here. Onyx, to me, could make a statement. Come out here, try to catch Aurora off guard. And they don't. They go Esma. That's a very safe pick. It kind of nullifies that lane.
Yep. And it can still jump on the Louis. One of the heroes that can use a Purify, which I feel like this is one of those games that it's okay for you to have a Purify.
Yeah, at the very least they have a Harley. I think I will be okay with that. So they have to at least penetrate the back lines and go in for pickoffs because aggressive lineup that Aurora draft.
Onyx knows they're trying to survive. They're not trying to lose early because if they go late game, they can get these fans at the Lenovo Legion Gauntlet even hyper than they are to kick off this first game. It's time to begin our second and last series of the day. It's Onyx versus Aurora Gaming. And to call the action, we've got Naisu and Gideon. Fellas?
Thank you so much, Rain Day. Welcome, everybody. The series that everybody's been anticipating for. It's Aurora facing off against Onyx in a best of 5. Everybody's had their opinions of Onyx, but everybody has seen Aurora as a legitimate threat to the throne. But who is going to come up on top here?
Man, you know, today and the past couple days have been a whole lot of sweep action that we've seen, and hopefully this one goes the distance here because, you know, moving forward, semifinals next, you want to go ahead and see them bring it the distance, and the drafts will have the distance for Aurora. I mean, the Louis Yi pick has only been brought up, what, one time? This is now the second time Louis comes through. Again, leave it up to Coach Midnight to make these drafts interesting, right? And sometimes that can work for you, sometimes it works against you. But we
Number one.
Setups with that diversion.
Let's go.
Stuff across the board, and I want to see how creative they actually went through. We saw, you know, Coach Midnight already talking very expressively to the rest
First Velo bir hat bozanım. First Velo.
Not happen, or certain mechanics. We're not 100% sure here. But really, that diversion could be the difference maker. They're playing a double fighter comp, which is already pretty scary. When they don't have like a dedicated scaler, so we know that Aurora are the ones on a timer in comparison to Onyx. We're seeing Wilderness Blessings. We're even seeing a Brave Smite coming out of Rosa, which is atypical for low Yis nowadays. Because dear Lord, like LaFell mentioned, once Lutfi is on top of him, it's going to be difficult for Rosa to get away.
I would say if you look at this for Aurora Gaming, one of the great things about the composition that can go against that setup from Luffy or anything else is they have a ton of options to just set things up, you know, between pick-off potential here. Looks like Tianzi's going to do a little bit of damage to Keyboy, but just keeps him at bay. And whether that's the kick, you know, from Pagu with that Way of the Dragon or, you know, Lunar jumping in. I mean, how many times now have we seen the Barretts be placed into that XP lane? The amount of ground coverage Barretts has, especially with a flicker in Daytona's welcome combo, is kind of insane.
It is. It's really good, but at the same time, right, there's still also the Valentina coming in from Sans. Now this fight could be a make it or break it here, as we can see that they don't have first position, but here comes the TP.
Well, Pagu just trying to buy some time.
اوکی طرز اول تحت فایت بارس میخوره میچسبونه اورا کایری میدوزده ترسلو یک در مقابل یک برسولو رو هیرو را گرفت
actually breathe for the moment. Let's look at this replay one more time, right? Because Aurora understood one thing. We are going to fight for this neutral objective. Unfortunately, we don't have Pagu to actually open up the map any further. Yep. But at this point, trading out against them just isn't worth the time. We already got that one kill onto Sans. At this point, we just need to make sure that we're minimizing the losses. Because unfortunately for Lunar, despite Lutfi eventually going to outscale him, he manipulates the waves really, really well.
Yeah, so probably with this kind of setup, you know, Aurora, if they can't find plays like that with a diversion or the pickoffs that they're looking for, then what do they wait for? You know, TNZ to get stacks like we've seen before on this, like possibly the Sky Piercer. Or
برگشت حساس یاوزی رفت و 2-1 برد آرا.
To hide, knowing that the purple buff is going to spawn in about 12 seconds. This next neutral objective is going to be difficult to contest for. Lutfi has so much of
pain. Pushing him back further. Lutfi has the shields and space to work with. Did pop the Purify and will survive.
Could use lead onto Keller because of that double waving, and we're waiting for it to accumulate to maximum, a critical mass as they call it. Oh no, Keller, does he know?
نه کیل بزنم. چه پوکیتو گلدلین واقعا اوپی. اصلا پوکیتو اصلا اوپی. یه دونه زد. بوکینگ یه دونه زد.
Actually, 1 minion manages to slip through, but Aurora, they're not done yet. They're looking for mid-tier 1.
Yep, and Kyrie had to back off of this. So then Luffy just left to his own devices. Will get taken out, dissected from the team.
Man, you can tell the difference between a good Barretts and a bad Barretts. How they flickered Detna's welcome, but the usage of the rocket jets to predict, hey, if you purify, if you flicker, this is the angle you're gonna be in, and I can knock you right back into the fight, making these chases so much harder to leave. To leave.
That's right. Yep.
That's my king.
Coach Midnight again has been a key part of what Aurora Gaming has been able to accomplish so far through this time. Again, this draft, something a little bit different than what we've seen, but it's just this execution from Aurora Gaming that has been so well. Again, there wasn't a huge lead that they had until now. It's not that it's massive already, but it's 2.6k that switched on very quickly off of 1 or 2 fights. And so now Onyx playing on the back foot, they've got to be able to readjust this. This third turtle's coming up here. We'll see if they actually want to go ahead and approach this or just wait. Already half health on this turtle. Again, Daytona's welcome. Pagu looking for the
ulti. Merci Sans. زنده موند. وای.
And now he's going to be able to get away here so easily as they look for another. Gets kicked. I know you're a wizard, Harley, but you can't get away.
Oh my goodness, Aurora playing out of their minds. The red herrings, they make it look so easy right now, but they're just not missing a single beat. They're not too tunnel vision. They're still open-minded to the way that these fights need to actually progress. Let's look at the replay one more time, right? Because again, this was an incredible catch here, spitting him right into Keyboy's face, making sure, despite the fact that Sans tried to flicker on out of there, dashed twice to make it all happen. The chase, the rundown from Aurora squad, it's difficult to beat. Once that major impact is landed and Keyboy doesn't have that Wrath of the Dryads, it's so much harder for Onyx to peel them away.
The unfortunate thing is once the Wrath of the Dryad is dropped down, that's also just a clear signal for Rosa to be like, okay, you want to fight here? I'm just going to go ahead and get these yin-yang interactions procced off, you know, and pump out enough damage. Everyone's centered around that Wrath of the Dryad setup anyway from Keyboy that the Luigi pick is actually a great counter into that.
And that's the thing. It's about finding the anchors here. So far, Aurora, Rosa has been generally untouched this entire game. And, you know, given the caliber of player, Rosa just doesn't seem to ever be out of position. And that's where Pagu comes in saying, I'm willing to die for the
8 دقیقه 8 بازی لول 15.
On the opposite side, right? Onyx doesn't necessarily have a dedicated anchor. When you are pulling backwards, who do you fall back to if not Sans?
Yeah, that's why one of the things, again, if you look at what Onyx can do here as they fall further behind, man. 7,000 gold deficit for Onyx. You've got to play into the Claude, right? You've got to go ahead and let Calra get to that point. But then even so, if you already have the Trinity, you walk into those team fights, it's going to be the same case where you're just overloaded with that damage, that front damage that Aurora has to play around with. And this Lord, is going to go freely over to Aurora Gaming.
Well, that's a really good point here. In just a little bit, Zipper, could you pull up the items? I mean, we need to know how far Kelra is from that Trinity as of right now. I think he should already be done with the Golden Staff based on the total amount of gold the team has, but I'm not 100% sure. In the meantime, though, Sigaboom, this is probably the strongest he is going to be throughout the game. He legitimately can 1v1 Kyrie, Sans, and Kelra if they just walk into a bush, and I think that's the big fear for Aurora. Opening up the map, especially with Keyboy, he's died 3 times opening up the map and fighting for that space. It's just really hard to get back up for him.
We'll see how they play this out. Lord slowly walking up here to this mid lane. They still have the Holy Defense Shields to play around with, but Onyx, again, with this kind of lineup,
این مچ اونی که خود کامبک بزنه واقعا سختشه. میتونه ولی سختشه.
Shield pops. Mid turret down. Aurora stays disciplined for now. They'll let them clear out the Lord here and see if they can get more.
لیکس لوی خیلی دمیج میده. لوی بد دمیج میده. میرورا هم بد دمیج. اوکی تو هم بد دمیج.
Especially dancing around that pit, it's just not worth the effort. And Onyx recognized that, right? It's the setup for the later half of the game to make sure that Kelra is in a good position, because so far there's probably their only win conditions besides, you know, maybe punishing Kagu, maybe punishing Sigaboom, and even then you kind of need Kyrie +1 to make that happen. Let's look at the items, because finally we see 2 already completed for Kelra. Kyrie actually opting to go for a more bruiser build this time around. He does not want to die randomly to either Sigaboom or even to someone like Rosa.
Yeah, he's kind of has to, you know? We've seen it how it happened in the first fights. I mean, that first hurdle, it was just him being patient. He went in with a retribution. But the team fight after that, you just see how quickly he has to go back in time to survive, you know? And that brute force is going to help him a little bit. Few stacks here for TNZ. This is what we were mentioning earlier on.
بایی که با هیرا رو میشه زده.
And honestly, if Onyx puts too much to try to deal with TNZ, that's where, you know, again, they're not paying attention to the rest of the side attack here from Sigaboom or even the diversion from Rosa. There's almost too many things that Onyx has to be wary of in these team fights just because of the nature of composition that Aurora has.
Oh yeah, and I think that's going to be hard for especially Lutfi. As much as he wants to be in the faces, he needs to act as Peel. He needs to cut Lunar off from certain angles and force him to flicker.
Bah.
As you can see, right? It's moments like this where Lutfi, he can't just stay in front of their face forever. He has to pull in and out consistently to maintain his health.
Okay. Again, at least some defensive items here being picked up now by Onyx, even an immortality for Keyboy, just to get him there a little bit longer. Kyrie will pick up Genius Wand. Sans has been holding on to the Lua Yi ult, right? That diversion. Maybe there's some trickery that they can go with to set them out for this fight for the Lord, or potentially take it.
I think the winning play is if Sans steals the Detna's welcome, and he is able to combo with the Falling Star Moon to guarantee somebody gets locked against the wall during a neutral objective. That's my best guess. Because so far, I feel like Aurora are hyper aware of specifically Keyboy. They're like, Kelra, okay, sure, we got flickers, we can get out of it. He only has Purify, so after the BMI, there's no follow-up after that. The next problem will be whether not we're too low, and Kyrie is able to kind of
وقت
clean this up. Considering his build, we're not going to get one shot. It's over a duration
چه اینجوری میشه اینترنت خوب است که من
of time. So really just boils down to how Lutfi, Sans, or even Keyboy finds an out-of-the-box play.
The out-of-the-box play is going to have to happen in the defense, man. Again, with their backs against the wall. This Lord should
یه
still
چیزی
be able to
که
be dealt with, though.
اونیک نیاز داره برای
The fact that you're
برد این بازی
you know, you've got pretty good clear with this. They can lock it down if they
یه
have
حرکت دابل فرانت
and keep this thing forward.
واقعا دابل فرانت میخواد
That could be a play for Onyx, but just like them, Pagu's got his own immortality. They've got their defensive items to work.
دابل فرانس میخواد با هیوی دمیج بکلاین.
His top turret down first while Onyx deals with the Lord.
اینطوری
Here we go.
نمیتونه.
Anyway, Daytona's welcome. Right on target. It's the tankiest member. It's going to get kicked away too. Dropping down the Wrath of the Drive for the back line.
تانگاشون دارن زوب میشن.
Zoning everyone.
خب کایری یه لحظه هیرورا رو خوب پیدا کرده.
With already Keyboy buying so much time. Finally goes down. But now Aurora looking to cap out game of one. Onyx on this defense. They got to clear out these waves. They're still charged up. TNC wants to take out Kelra.
کیل رو قیب شد.
Game one, Onyx facing a tough
Nah.
loss against Aurora Gaming.
Beautifully played by TNZ. That's how you maintain your lead as Hirara. Just abuse the fact that a lot of her damage is directly tied not only to her items, but specifically from the
No, فهمه اونی سکوت شد.
It's only like 3 seconds before you get both of your combo abilities back up. That's why he's going in and out constantly, baiting those spells, baiting a reaction from Onyx. And that's something that they're going to have to remember for the upcoming games here. Great game number 1 coming in from Aurora. At least for Onyx.
دوربین اومد سمتشون پرچم نگم بده.
Let's see what the next combo is for game number 2. And I think a lot of it is trying to find that punish in the jungle.
Man, if they, again, when it goes to the draft, it's like there's always that one pick or that one curveball that you can almost expect from Aurora Gaming. And it's not that the Loi was that entire reason why they won. It was just, again, executing around the diversion that they had. Siggy Bum having a hell of a game in the Paquito gold lane. And just even Pagu, man, the amount of times that he was able to lock on the right target, get the kick, serve it up to his team, was hard to play against.
It's very, very difficult because imagine if you're Keyboy and you see Pagu doing moves like that. He shouldn't pose in front of your face.
Yeah.
Do you go for the punish or is he going to flicker a third hit of G Kundo on
والنتینا
can only do so much.
از هیرو رو اولت بدوزده چیو میدوزده دقیقا.
It's a logistics problem that they solve with Rosa on this low E, but we're gonna let our panel break it down for you as we throw it back over to Rain Day.
Somebody call it man, because they need an answer to this Jeet Kundo in the gold lane. Paquito and Siggy Boom continue to dominate. No kills in that
Ah,
game.
کروشل عالمین خانم بریجیت
Prove with game
بهتری
one
کستر جواد.
what we think they are. The new final boss. It's just a matter of can Onyx respond. Welcome back to the desk. Rain Day here, Brig. LaFell.
I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, sure, we might see the telestrator later on, but here's the thing. Technically speaking, why Aurora has been winning, I feel like in that game has proved it, they're using 2 things, which is number 1, wave management as well as timing. Because you're going to see after 5 minutes, they completely abandon the lane because at that point, Aurora is playing a draft that is strong off of 1 item. Right? You're going up like a Colada Hive that you need 3. They're like, no, we just need 1, and then we're going to end the game before you get a chance to build your items.
I gotta say, the fact that the Paquito was left open up until the second phase, the very last moments of the draft, and the fact that Onyx 2 have revealed what kind of carries they were planning to go for in the first phase, namely the Harley and both the Claude, especially the Claude. I feel like it has always been a case of Aurora taking advantage of these kinds of scenarios and then revealing that Siggy Boom was eventually going to get a hold of the Paquito. Because you saw how they were able to clearly shut down that gold lane. Even the rotations towards the gold lane were not as successful. It was only the Paquito that was necessary for them to already pull it off. And again, Tianzi, everyone else, the rotations and farming patterns have been a bit too clear and a bit too free. Onyx, I think what we mentioned before heading into the game was true. They were a bit more safer in terms of their gameplay.
And I think this is where the mental part starts to happen because we heard Onyx repeat to us, we said it about them, yeah, they get an early game start. When they do that, we could be in trouble. And then they get an early game start. So now what? I mean, you still got game to play.
14k گلد different.
That if this happens, we're going to lose.
آره.
So then that comeback seems a little harder to me, Brigitte, because they've already basically proclaimed that if they don't start well, it's over.
And they decided to reveal with which heroes are they planning to start the game with. They picked and prioritized the Balearic and the Valentina. We did consider that the Balearic might be flexed eventually later on. but I think they were just forced to settle with it in Rome. And the Belleric Valentina could only do so much if you're up against the Luyi, who I think even in the first few minutes of the game have shown us very unintentional yin-yang combos that really put Onyx in a very difficult position over the long run.
I think this could be one of the stars. We're not talking about him enough. Siggy Boom has played phenomenally. I know Aurora Gaming are barely on screen because they're winning in 9 minutes almost every single game, but he has played phenomenally, guys. And I will say the Lu Yi, it's already come out once. They won with it once, make it twice now.
Yeah, honestly, I really don't get how Sigibum still gets the Paquito.
Yeah.
I mean, despite his name, he's not a bum. He knows how to play that hero. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta back me up whenever I say no comment.
I agree. I mentioned it. That was the first thing I talked about. How is he still able to get a hold of the Paquito?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, this is just, it to me, I felt like Onyx were really worried about what they were getting, not what they were taking away. But LaFell, it's very hard to take away a situation where Aurora Gaming are coming into it almost knowing they're going to have one up on you. They're going to have a double fighter. They're going to have a character you haven't seen before that's not quite in the meta. I feel like that's why Onyx said, let's just get stuff that's good, and then hopefully we can win this and draw it out a little bit later. But what'd you see?
I mean, like, the problem is, I feel like even Team Liquid said the same thing, right?
Yeah,
Like, they were surprised that Aurora played that fast, and then they're like, we're trying to fight it by having late game. But TL did it, and it didn't work out. We see Onyx trying it, also didn't work out. So you gotta fight fire with fire. You come to me. I'm not gonna stand up.
Okay, here.
Hold posture, man.
Here's the
Line
thing
test
that we got to talk about. What's important in the draft of Aurora is actually, yes, the Paquito, but also the Cho. Because here's the thing of what Aurora has been doing. They need at least 2 people, which is this, to open up the map. So that's step number 1. And then the interesting thing about Herrera for TNZ is that it's strong early game, but because TNZ builds the Sky Piercer, make it so that he has scaling, right? Coming to the late game, if he can delete you in one combo, you don't need a marksman because you can eliminate their marksman. Because really I would say the weakness of the draft coming in from Onyx is surprisingly Claude, because again, he takes so long to actually do something in the game. Against Aurora, you need map presence, and we're gonna see why. We're gonna be looking at a the important thing isn't what's happening, but it's actually the time. It's 6 minutes into the game. Before this fight, we actually see Aurora, all 5 members rotating top, able to get a kill, and then look at the minion wave. They let the minions go inside the turret all alone. They're not destroying this turret. Why? For them to deny minions, right? So the longer the minions stay at that turret, the less gold that Onyx is gonna farm. And also, again, we see how all members of Aurora here, 5 members, 6 minutes into the game, try to get this mid lane. And here's the thing, they keep on doing that, just different lanes. We're gonna be seeing like some action here. They're just positioning themselves in a way, whoever is in front, they can punish. And that's why the Cho is there to open up the map. And then the Luyi is there kind of as a backup. If you're trying to catch any of our map openers, then we can deal with you. And this is something that I feel like yesterday Vitality tried to do, right? By having this barrage, you have basically gap closers. And I think that's the best way to express what Aurora is doing, early game and gap closers. Because when they engage into the fight here, again, the timing, step by step, eliminate the heroes that has very strong early game. Why did I pick this clip again? I don't even remember.
That's because you threw your note card away and you still haven't grabbed it.
Don't need it. But yeah, honestly, that's the important thing, is that you have to realize Aurora, they're gonna spend the first 5 minutes just torturing you in lane. Afterwards, they're gonna get out of lane, and then they're gonna move as 5 and grab as much objective as they can. And by the time you try to fight back, guess what, buddy? You're not strong enough.
Yeah, I agree. You really can't play slow against this team. It's something that's proven time and time in every single series that they've played. And I can't help but go back to the point which he brought up earlier, because it's very similar to how TL ended up losing against them too. I agree. And it's also reflected in the picks. It's all reflected in the matchups. And I think that plays a crucial role, right? The fact that they really went for the Claude, revealed it earlier, and even the mid duo. So it's like you've already shown Aurora how the rotations are probably going to look like, the pacing you're probably going to play with, and who you're playing for.
Well, let's take a listen to what Pagu had to say earlier on, because we had a chance to catch up with him before this game. Cho looked good in game 1. We'll see what he thinks coming into game number 2.
We are now here with Pagu from Aurora Gaming. Pagu, welcome.
Hello.
What did you say to me before this interview? Watermelon? What's that about?
Just testing the comms, right?
Oh,
So the sound is right.
where did you get watermelon from?
My coach always says it.
Oh.
I don't know.
Is it midnight?
Yeah, it's all midnight. Always
It's all
midnight.
Always midnight. Midnight. But, you know, going into this match, I think a lot of people are talking about your jungler. Tianzi has been popping off. I think people are saying that he's #1 in the jungle position. But as a roamer, how do you support a jungler like that?
So in this meta, because it's majority assassin jungle, right? So it's important that he's being protected and he can farm safely, right? So you have to provide him vision. You need to protect his grim camps always. So and the blue buff majority of the games, right? So yeah, you just need to protect him at all costs, even if you're alive.
Okay, protect him at all costs. And what happens if you fail to do that? What does Tianzi do?
If I fail to do that, the game gets harder, first of all. And second of all, we have to be more aggressive to regain the green camps from enemy side.
Does he get angry?
In some situations, I mean,
Some
if it's our
situations.
mistake, but sometimes it's normal. Just keep up the good mindset, right? The game is not done.
So how do you, keep him calm and nice and so on and so forth? Is there something that's special that you do, or you just have to protect the green camps?
If there's a mistake, we try not to repeat it so it doesn't happen again. Yeah, just
Okay.
learn from mistakes, basically.
Learn from the mistakes. We really like that. We really, really do. Is there something that we don't know about Tianzi, maybe?
So yeah, as you said earlier, when there's no green camps,
Okay.
he might make sure that next time the green camps are there.
Okay, so let's talk about the green camps. Tianzi and his green camps. There's something about that relationship, but that's really good insight. Thank you so much. And we're also really curious about the rest of your team.
میگه چی واسه جانگلرتون مهمه گیرین کمپاش
So who's more emotion? Like where's the
گیرین کمپاشو نداشته باشه عصبی میشه
player that's a little bit more emotive?
When we're talking about hype, I would say Lunar is
Oh.
the most one. In games, when he gets the energy boost, right? If everything is working out in games,
So Lunar.
Lunar when it comes to energy,
Okay.
right?
Hype, Lunar. Who's most calm?
Most calm for me, I think it's either Siggy or Rosa. But personally, I think Rosa, right? As a mid laner, just work for the team, right? Listen to the calls a bit.
I get the vibes. What about most nervous before a match?
Most nervous? It can be me, honestly, sometimes.
really?
I mean, with the green camps, as I said earlier.
And you're more nervous because of your own teammate.
If you let your teammates play, then game is good, right? If they're having good match. That's a job of a roamer, right? Just play for your team.
That's true. You're a really good roamer.
یه
Is there
بعد
any
رومرایی که به ما میده ما رو میذارن لاکار میمیرن
set fast?
خدای
Say me.
Green camps.
Green. Oh, okay.
گرین کمپس
Okay, we got it. So coming to this next match, are you confident that you can win?
اینقدری که برادر به گرین کمپ ها اهمیت میده هیچ کی تو زندگیش نمیده
Anything can happen. Maybe the draft will be like something crazy. Who knows? But so far, if we just play our normal game, I think we got this.
Okay. We'll take your word for it. But now, before we let you go, do you have a message to your teammates?
Yeah, guys, just keep up the good work. Let's play normal game, no tilting. I hope our green camps are safe and everything works out.
Okay. Thank you so much for this interview. It's been fun. And we're going to throw it over back to you guys.
I never knew green camps were that important.
دقیقا
See Pagu sweating, thinking about he has nightmares when he doesn't get the green camps for TNZ. But at the end of the day, Aurora Gaming leave us with a sentiment that we all felt, which is if they play their game, they're going to be okay. LaFell, what do you think about that?
I think green camps is great. Now I know, don't take it away from
I knew you weren't
I
listening.
think this is why Mirko is mad at us. Sometimes we take his camps away.
Oh.
Oh, you guys don't
Sometimes
protect?
it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Do you play the game to win or to have fun?
Yeah, to win, for sure.
In this context.
In this context.
To win, you know.
Well, at least we had fun.
آره داداش $1 میلیون دیگه
I don't think it does.
معلوم اومدم ببرم
Representing the last remaining MSC champion on the side of Onyx, who's still in this tournament. SRG and Team Liquid PH have gone out earlier. It's just Onyx from 2023 who remain. If they lose here, we're going to have a new MSC champion. We're about to make some history if Aurora keep going, but that's a big if. And I want to bring it back to now, game 2. What do we want to see adjustment-wise, especially if you're being on the side of, you know, devil's advocate for how Onyx can turn this around, where do you think they got caught?
First of all, for me, you know the story of the rabbit and the
Tortoise in the hare.
tortoise in the hair?
Yeah.
That doesn't apply everywhere. Right here, you gotta go fast. You can't be like a turtle.
Slow and steady doesn't win the race always.
Turtle and a rabbit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, tortoise
Yeah,
and
but
the hare.
hair is a different
Hare
way to
is
say
a way
rabbit.
to say rabbit, and tortoise is a different way to say turtle.
Crocodile and
tortoises are
alligator are
different.
different.
They are different, you're right, but
So are turtles and tortoises.
so you guys only heard
من شام
the rabbit
تو
story.
Oh.
And the tortoise and the hare,
Hey, the
Oh.
the
difference.
rabbit wins. Just kidding.
It's a turtle.
It
But
is
yeah.
still the turtle or the tortoise.
But still, it's just that you gotta fight speed for speed. That's like the main takeaway for this one.
Yeah.
Because if you lose by the first 5 minutes of the game, Aurora is just the kind of team that won't make a mistake that gives you that avenue to fight back.
Well, I think the problem when you get into a major tournament like this is there's a lot of people, a lot of chefs, a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and they all have an idea. You also have an identity as a team, which got you here. And if the identity that's working against you is not the identity that you know is your best way to play the game, it's difficult, Brig.
I actually agree with that because I feel like Onyx still just played with their identity. They played to their strengths, but it's something that's being exploited again and again by Aurora because again they have so many cards up their sleeve. They have so many ways to deal with what has been considered the meta and
Who
the
is that
strengths of
guy?
Onyx for the longest time. We have a special mention here from someone.
Midnight.
Dinosaur.
Wow.
It's a dinosaur. Oh.
Speaking of dinosaurs, the Barat does seem to be quite a
Barat,
problem. It's just that, hey, I feel like the reason why Aurora keeps on winning, they keep on winning the side lanes, right? So stop that. Stop that. If you can't deal with the Paquito, hey, ban it out.
I agree. I think Paquito should be banned. It's not like it's prioritized by Onyx in a major way. And
True.
it's obviously not only a potential flex to gold lane, which we've seen that again, but it's just too powerful. And when you combine that with the Cho and the Barats, they have two literal solo ISO ults and moments to displace members on Onyx. And that's exactly what you don't want. You want to play steady, you want to play Onyx way. And so how do you do that? You eliminate the things that can disrupt you. And I feel like we should see not just a Selena ban, guys. I feel like Cho should be banned second phase if possible, and Paquito.
Selena ben dedim.
Early because again, Aurora, their draft always have good gap closers, so I feel like Onyx shouldn't be super
Valentino.
enthusiastic to have heroes that are long range because somehow, some way, Aurora will find a way to close the gap.
And Onyx should take advantage of this blue side because I think both of them really favor blue side, but they banned the
Hirara?
Barretts instead. So
Atlas is up.
Okay, it's still gonna be Hirara for Onyx, but
First
as you
pick
mentioned,
Hirara, Kairi.
even the Belleric and the Paquito is still open.
What did they
all
want
over
from
again.
this? Are they trying to open up Paquito early? I mean,
Yeah.
was
I feel like for Aurora, because they battled the Valentina, they should be picking up the Atlas here. Atlas +1. The +1 is going to be the big question. I feel like it's not a bad time to pick up a Paquito.
because he could. Oh, you're.
Oh, did Uranus?
Uranus.
Wait,
Uranus.
Belerik Uranus.
That's interesting.
Oh, but here's the thing. Uranus and Belleric are very high sustained heroes. So in terms of
دوتا
marksman,
فرانت
I can see
نمیر
Carry doing quite well here.
yeah, but are they baiting Onyx?
باور کن میدلینشون ساپورت میاد آجی میدلینشون ساپورت میاد این دوتا رو نگه میداره به گاه میره
And that's
اونیک
something that Aurora can eventually consider still over to their side. So Onyx have to be very particular about their choices here because the carry really looks good, but you also don't know what other range options would come out from Aurora. You don't know what Rosa's playing in mid just yet. So they will go for a Esmeralda. This is looking like a dead lane in the EXP, at least for the matchup. The gold ring is really what matters at this point.
We also saw the Atlas picked up, and it did not work. It was Vamos trying to do a lot with the Atlas, and they're
Bah,
actually going to
Rafaela.
from it. Zushin and Rafaela right back. We see you, buddy.
گفتم
Okay, Onyx.
گفتم
Bans to take
Dana.
out early game junglers. I feel like maybe they can take out Nolan because I feel like Nolan with the Belleric and the Rafa I think is just a bit too much. That was a very fast Rafa pick, and I feel like it's going to be good to deal with all three members of Onyx here. Just the slowdown by itself, speeding up the Uranus. He's going to stick onto them, and here's the thing. They won't have enough damage early game to potentially deal with the Uranus.
Yeah, because you're already seeing the juice in. That's that. But also it's just mostly the Juicin and Hirara, because if you're looking at them and the possibility of them scaling, then you might have to have another source for mid to late game damage, which I feel is something that's going to be very tough for Onyx, because the rotations are looking a bit too fast for Aurora. You're already expecting for them to pick up an early to mid game jungler as well. At least the Paquito's not there, but either way, I think it works out for Aurora. They'll have late game heroes as options later on.
Yeah. I feel like Onyx needs to pick something up like a high loss, something that can slow down Aurora here, because they're looking very fast with
the Hereth is shown. There's got to be a win condition on the side lanes. That's the issue that Onyx have faced. They have not been able to do their thing and get to late game. They have to figure that out here.
I feel they need a carry here.
Yeah.
They just need a carry.
Okay, I'm also looking at what Keyboy could actually pick up, because I feel like AoE would really matter here if they want to slow
Minotaur,
things down.
maybe?
Minotaur is a great option. I was thinking of that. And you also have Sustain. So if Aurora actually go in for the dives, then they might have ways to last a bit more longer in the team fights. And if it's sustained team fights you're looking at, yes, you have the Esmeralda, but what is going to be the carry?
I really feel like Minotaur carry is going to be a good enough pick. Or the Atlas is still open. It's just the gold lane here. I wonder if they want to go for a Brody. I don't think Brody is a good shot. Ranger is worse though, I think.
The only reason why I was iffy about the Atlas is because I feel like at this point in the draft, you're going to settle with pickoffs.
Rafa also counters the Atlas, and Lucas!
Unique hero!
Lucas in the jungle! Or is this gonna be like Lucas EXP and then Uranus jungle?
This is tough, this is tough.
I can see Uranus jungle as well. I think it is Uranus jungle. Oh wait, no, they change.
Wait.
Alright, Lucas jungle then. Alright, so
Uranus on the EXP.
I think Onyx, they might have overthink this, because Atlas kind of gets countered by the Rafa with the speed up and slow down.
Yep.
The Granger, I think it's just because his Kelra's comfort. I don't think it's going to be good enough though. You can't really burst down Aurora.
And even if you do, there's a passive that Rafaela can utilize to just bring them back in action. So this is looking like a really good game for Aurora, honestly.
It feels like more of the same, the early game problem. Don't know if Onyx have found a solution, but this is the time to test their theories, because they are only a few games away from getting knocked out. Aurora trying to go 2-0 up here over Onyx.
And the game begins. So far, the statement has been set by Aurora. Hey, we've already taken game number 1, and we're still going to be whipping out some new tech against Onyx. We do see the Rafaela, this time paired up with 2 tanky boys. A particular Leonin who scales up very, very quickly and very, very deadly. And of course, Lucas.
Well, I love this. Again, some unique heroes come through. Leave it up to Aurora Gaming and Coach Midnight to make this happen. I remember specifically, I think it was LaFell that was asking about the Lucas jungle even back in the wild cards to go through. Well, finally it comes out in the knockouts. You can see that, because again, when you're getting all these heals through and you're this tanky for Aurora, you can't overstay if you're Onyx, and that might be one of the biggest problems for them.
I mean, let's not forget, again, most people have tend to kind of lean away from Lucas because he's so ability driven, and his ult, again, you can wait for the full duration, or you can get into these fights like right now and see whether you can start building enough charge to maximize it as soon as you get it. And that's the issue, right? It's going to be a matter of spacing for both sides. You can see that even Sans has opted not to go for Wilderness Blessing and instead pull yourself together to make sure that he can flicker out of the way in case things get really, really dangerous, which I would assume will, as we see Lunar, he is having a tough time in this lane.
Yeah. They got to put pressure somewhere, and right now that's going to be on the Uranus up there in that XP lane for Lunar. Turtle's up, though. So right now, Onyx has favor to go ahead and get in position if they can. Keyboy doesn't have level 4 yet. He's given the information where TNZ is, though, so that gives Kyrie a chance to go ahead and secure his buff, and then we'll see if this breaks down into a fight. A response, though. They don't Keyboys here. Sigibum rotating up to allow this buff to be secured, but the fight for the Turtles already going to start up, but it's less than half health. Secured up by Kyrie. Let's see if they disengage here. Pagu too low, so objective secure for Onyx.
Oh, that's a bit of a waste here, and honestly, a pretty huge win because now Kelra at least gets some gold shielding here, just to get a little bit of a lead against Sigaboom at this point of time. And not to mention that I think that Onyx also recognized that, hey, we got to be careful. We cannot underestimate this Lucas. There's a very good chance that he can just power through a lot of our abilities, even if they do have the Fatal Links here. Keep in mind, anti-CC is going to be a big mechanic here for Tien. Oh, this is dangerous. Wait a second.
Oh, Pagu.
I don't know if they want to keep on doing this, but Onyx made the smart choice but to back away.
Hey, you know what? Hey, you can still say Pagu. That wasn't a green camp. You know, that was a punt that went over in the hands there of Kyrie, but still kind of trying to maintain this jungle. Skypiercer is picked up by Kelra. That's kind of what we were thinking with that Granger being picked up here. Again, it is a comfort pick, but also if you can start to build those stacks for Kelra, obviously that's really going to help. And he has to play at range against this kind of lineup here that Aurora Gaming has. So off to a pretty steady start for Onyx, building up already a nice little lead.
And they don't mind not interacting in these early stages of the game until everybody's got their ultimates and they find the right position to do so. And I think as long as Aurora recognizes this, hey, we need to fight on our terms and only our terms, there's a lot of things in the early game that actually don't matter.
Here in the mid lane, this is going to matter. Keyboy fallen. First blood to the hands of Sigaboom. What a rotate here.
Catch up back on gold here. He's got a kill in hand, but now that he's got the extra plating as well, he should finally have a slight lead against Kelra.
Okay. Didn't have to pop the Purify, just dropped down the Zaman Force. But yeah, as you mentioned, he got a lot of the extra gold off that turret. That's kind of what Sigaboom needed. But again, he did get that first kill too. Uh-oh. He knows the Zaman Force is down. Kelra will go in. A quick kill. The killer instinct for him, knowing Zaman Force wasn't available, makes a move, and now bottom side still gonna break out. TNZ Fatal Links into
days without anything left. I think at this point Kelra is going to be a much bigger problem to Aurora now that the game plan is starting to fall apart. Luckily for Sigaboom, he doesn't lose too much.
مرسی وامگان خوشگل کلیو گرفت یه جون درست پشت سر هم لوکاسو گرفت بابا تبلیغاتش
the Zaman Force available for Sigaboom. Onyx will take advantage of that. So a really good decision there. Pagu obviously a little more defensiveness, gets a radiant armor locked in now.
یعنی شلون بود
Again, Onyx building up on this lead very early on. It's going to be great for them. Turret going down up top side. It looks like Sigaboom should be able to get that one, but now Lunar could possibly be in trouble. The rest of the team's here though. Is tanky enough, picks up a dominance ice, but this turtle is up. Are we going to see 3 for 3? Down though, has to pop the consecration. TNZ looking for his own opening. Wrath the Dryan locks down Keyboy. They get thrown out by the lantern and Loopy's gone. Kelra flickering defensively. They're going to fight it out. Kyrie able to get the turtle. Taking out Pagu too. It's a trade. And now with the speed, they're able to get some distance here for Aurora Gaming. They're going to go ahead and respawn, revitalize Pagu back up. They lost the objective fight, but it looks like Aurora still willing to take these fights.
That was beautiful stuff. Like, Lunar got a lot out of Onyx. Sans even using his ult as well, making sure that they got basically everything down. Kelra trying his best, but Pagu switches the role with Lunar to get right in front of Kelra's face to make sure that nobody else needs to die here. If one person dies, that's totally fine. 2 people, too much.
Ooh, Malefic Roar now picked up too. Again, a final. Well, Fatal Links, instant kill. Eventually, you're not going to be able to just keep respawning Pagu now. Whoa. Again, Sans up here in the front of it all. Rosa trying to get away too. This is a messy fight in between 2 turrets as they back off. Meanwhile, up top, Sigaboom, he's been dealing with a lot of pressure on this Harith. I mean, Onyx now is
yeah, it's really tough for TNZ at this stage. Unfortunately for TNZ in this matchup against Kyrie, on Hirara, I don't think it's very easy because unfortunately for TNZ, a lot of Lucas's moveset, it's one-dimensional. You don't have a way to kind of delay the timings of it. You don't have a way to kind of come from different angles. It's very straightforward. I run you down. I'm pushing you back either into my team or away from my team. But Hirara is so different, especially with the iframes as well. Oh, this could be a punish.
Pagu could be in trouble again. Doesn't have a flicker available. The rest of the team has to help support him up. They're going to throw themselves into the fight. Lunar trying to get away. And now Pagu on the disengage too. Loopy up on the front side. They call it off though. They don't want to overcommit to this. They see the purple buff is up. They're going to put some pressure here. Kyrie goes in. and TNZ doesn't have the purple.
Yep, but that means that Kyrie doesn't have retribution. So far, this could be a forced fight here. They know that Keyboy doesn't have the fatal link, so they have a very short window to try and punish. But so far, Lunar has not been able to open up the map convincingly because of the fact that he's been
Oh
no.
Flicker forward, Wrath the Drive.
Oh.
Taking some shots, the Rapsy shots. Kelra.
Buraya be.
Piercer prop. TNZ gonna follow by Kyrie's hand.
Damage'ı خیلی از اسکای کیل بیشتر بود.
Double for Kelra.
تریبل.
They ignore the Lord, they go for Paga.
برو تریبل.
Where's a tree to run here, man? Being chased down by Sans and Kelra. Couple shots of the Rhapsody and boom, another.
Man, Sans and Kelra are playing out of their minds right now. Sans hyper aggressive.
رسما تریبل بود دیگه.
On TNZ, making sure like
میپذیرم.
even though TNZ has anti-CC, doesn't necessarily mean he's safe, right? He still needs Rosa to bail them with the extra movement speed to help close that distance because that's Lucas's biggest problem, right? TNZ jumps into the middle of this fight, tries to make something happen by pushing Lutfi out of the way, but unfortunately the entire time Sans is just building up the butterfly stacks on top of him. Rosa can try and bail him out of there, but once you are committed to the lightning, to the quick step, it's just too much to handle. And I think they just need to take a breath here. Think about it for a
واقعا
moment. So
نمیدونم
far, their main win condition is going to be Sigabum. The early
چرا
game
کایری هست هیرو رو بد نمیدین.
Yeah, this is tough too because meanwhile when all that happened,
حتی همچین درفت اوپی هم جلو هیروروی کایری.
you know, Luffy taking out that
اولا لسه.
shield. You can see it here in the mid too, being down max stacks here.
اسم گرنجر مشاهده میکنم. گرنجر الایت. اصلا M7 خودت انتخاب کردی گرنج.
Lunar, half health already. Even on this Uranus, he's gonna pop the consecrate. All turrets are gonna be stripped out of the base of Aurora Gaming. But now with Onyx, a 10,000 gold lead. They dealt with this in game one, and now it's their turn. Keyboy looking for an opening here. Lord's gonna be worked on. Keyboy jumps on in. Final.
اوه اطلس چه اولتی گذاشت.
On three. Still on the
هریس داره اطلس رو زوب میکنه.
firing off the backside. He's got the space to work with.
چجوری زنده موند اطلس من نمیتونم. مرد. اوه کیل رو اوه کیل رو اوه کیل رو اوه کیل رو کیل رو گرنجر یکی از این بشر بگیره. گرنجر یکی از دستای این بشر بگیره. این دلیلیه که M7 اسکینش گرنجر بود. چرا گرنجر میذارین پیک کنه. M6 یه بلایی با گرنجر سر ملت آورد که الان دوباره داره میاره. چرا گرنجر رو باز میذارین برای کیل رو. طرفدارای شاد مونیک رو مشاهده میکنید دوستان.
It just didn't work, Gideon. You know, this was a struggle from the start to the finish. Onyx really put the pressure
یک
the jungle, but then the rest of the map. I mean, it was really hard for TNZ to even secure his bust that he needed and everything else, but also just really good positioning and fighting from Kelra here and the rest of the Onyx squad. Because again, you look at all the room Kelra has here in these highlights. He has all the space.
کیلوج زیادی دمیج داره. نگاه کن گرنجر رو. یا خدا رو هر کی میگیره زوب میشه.
Space in the world to move here.
Yeah, it's just so difficult. Hopefully they figure it out here. We're going to be throwing it
Yok,
over
yok.
even more with Rain Day and the boys, of course, Brigida as well.
Thank you so much. I mean, this was the gold standard in action. Gideon and Nice, so you guys didn't have too long of a cast on that one either. It's been quick, decisive games on both sides of it. And now Brig and the fella, or maybe I should call you both the boys. How are we feeling?
She's our boy, man.
Yeah.
You're one of the boys, Brig.
خب
I can
من اینو قطع کنم.
accept that.
یاسین پیام بدیم.
Do you approve of that name?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Bell, whatever.
Yeah, it's your call now, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
LB, we're pounds.
Let's keep workshopping, and then we'll figure it out. Like Onyx as well, who kept workshopping, and then they figured it out. I think this was a really great response. I feel like this is the chance that they needed. They took it. They finally answered back to Aurora's early game, and they punched them right back. And now Aurora, your move.
Yeah, the Rafaela coming out was something that really I thought was going to be terrifying. Was especially terrifying
connection
for
چی؟
Onyx and their potential early game, but
That's
it was
like-
very visible in that game. Also
دیدم
mentioned by
خودم.
the casters throughout the game. They won out big on their laning phase, and that's what mattered the most. That's what prevented Aurora from actually maximizing the capabilities of this lineup. Because honestly, on paper, Rafaela Lucas seem really scary.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This is one of those situations
واقعا
where
کاغذ
especially can argue for
مثلا
the
پیکا رو
reason,
دیدم
like,
اینجوری
you see
بودم
right
که
now,
جی جی.
because honestly, this is, I would say, Briggs, is all the players, because
Yeah.
this is
ولی
not
اونیک
like,
خیلی
you
بهتر
know,
پلی داد.
spit on your draft. Screw the draft. As long as I'm better, I'm good.
They
I'll,
were better.
dude, I'll show later during
yeah.
that thing where you hold the mic. Like, this is
illustrator, yeah.
legit. Just like I'm better than you. That's it. That's why I won.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, but you know, I think that is selling it too short, because I agree that that's the case, but they weren't able to do that in game one because Aurora had positioned themselves so well. What went wrong in this one? I mean, how did they get to the point where it's like, yeah, let's have an even fight and I can just show them better?
They don't have Paquito. Right?
Really? You
'Cause
think
Siki-
that's that important?
کل رو دو تا تیم فایت یه تریپل و یه مینیاک زد روز جمع شد.
That's
right.
the big difference. And we talk about this is in the previous one where like Aurora has been winning because they side lanes keep on winning.
Yeah.
Look what happens when they lose.
Yeah, and I think you see how that was the plan, the idea that they went from the start when they drafted this lineup, because even the execution tells you that they just really want to keep invading, they really want to keep fighting, because that's what their lineup is really strong. In terms of, that's where their lineup's really strong. It's in terms of fighting, it's in terms of just out sustaining, always getting back in the fights, because again, you have a Rafaela, you're on flying clouds, but also it's because of your mostly fighter lineup. But you don't really get to see them get to that point where you feel like they just rather would not, or Onyx would rather not fight against them, because they actually had the damage to deal with them. Kelra stacking on those Sky Piercer stacks early on did not allow for Aurora to play the game that they wanted.
That could be the difference. They're not expecting that. LaFell, break down what you saw Onyx respond here in game two.
Very elegant in the way that you grab the mic. So honestly, like, we're not going to be looking much at the draft here, because it really is on that execution, because I just want to show two big things here, right? Look at this. This is level 1 Lunar. Again, could you like lower it a bit? Just okay, thank you. Like, Lunar is level 1 and then Loopy is level 2. You guys didn't catch it, but she just put it like so high. Anyways, level 1, level 2. This is already quite a big win, because again, the reason why we see Aurora doing well in game number 1, they got the Barats. Barats wins the lane quite hard. Now Lunar is getting bullied a bit, and this is also why I want to say that Kelra deserves a pay raise. He deserves a bonus, because look at the situation here. I mean, honestly, because he does have the flicker, so he is a little bit more brave to go for this trade. But look at this 1v1, straight up 1v1, going up against Siki Bum, and then he dies. And then look at the state of the minions as well. Even the gold card is almost dying. So there's a lot of gold on the table There's a lot of gold on the table that's being denied here by Onyx. And then when we go into the team fights, just like what Gideon said, we got to look at Sans, because Sans is honestly destroying the composition.
مایک میبره بالاتر نگه میداره.
And what Aurora is trying to do, all right, Aurora is trying to do is that they have 1 or 2 dedicated map openers, and this one is going to be Lunar. And every single time, I'm just showing you one clip, but Sans multiple times pick up the front line of the team, and then look at how all the while Kelra in the back, he has free range to keep on hitting, because look at all the HP being brought down by the rest of Onyx here.
این کمبوشون خیلی خوب بود. سانز با جوشین میکشید بالا، کیل را فول دمیج میداد رو هوا به یارو نصف اچ پیش میرفت، بعد مجبور بود فرار کنه دیگه. و چون اسکای داشت با 2 تا اولت میخوابوند. برانت ملتر بود کمبوشون نشه.
Just shows that both teams here, Reindeer as well as Brigitte, they are very high octane kind of teams. If you get a 1,000 gold lead in the early game for both Onyx as well as Aurora, it's life changing.
Yeah, I gotta say,
Life changing.
you see it, because it's both Sans and Kelra. They're very willing to just go for the front lines. It was highlighted earlier. Sans was lifting whoever just throws up front, and Kelra being a bit too free, not afraid of trying to go for these heroes first because the damage was a bit too much. I particularly observed that during that one sequence you put there, highlight there, because I think that's where you kind of know that Onyx have already got the game.
6-0 in terms of his overall stats, but his difference in game one was really
12-0.
the moment. 6-0 in the moment of that fight. It ended up 12-0, you're right, and it ended up tripling almost his damage there, a little bit over 2.2 times from game one to game two. Brigitte, this is the gold standard that we were looking for.
Yeah, it's a complete opposite of what you saw from him in game number one, where again the matchup was clearly a lot more difficult to execute. So I feel like it's a similar situation that Aurora experienced this time. You kind of thought that they were actually going to have the advantage, granted that they had such a promising lineup synergy wise, they had all the mobility in the world, they had all the timings in the world, but once they lost on the sides, that changed the outcome drastically, because you could not really rely on the mid trio to just pull off the idea of the draft alone.
It's been interesting because now where do we see the focus shift? It could be the mid that starts to become a little bit more important on the matchup. It's kind of been I don't know, taken not for granted, but we focus so much on the side lanes that where do you get your advantage now if Onyx have an answer for that?
Honestly, I feel like both coaches have been doing quite a good job on getting drafts that is very serviceable by the teams. Right now, it really is just personal mechanics, right? Between Siki Boom going up against Kelra. Siki Boom, can you beat Kelra? If you beat Kelra, we win the game. If you lose against Kelra, Onyx will win the game. So I feel like, yes, the coaches have to get lane-winning matchups for all the side lanes, but then Kelra just showed, like, if he's better, he's just better.
You know, I like that too, because sometimes when you get to a position like this and anything at a high level, everyone's about as good as everybody else. I mean, there's differences, right? There's moments of who steps up, who's a little bit better under pressure. But you just want to get yourself to a position where the players can decide the match based on how they play. They're not losing out the gate with their draft. So overall, it seems like Onyx and Aurora Gaming, they both set their teams up to win. We'll see what happens in game three. Before we do that, though, I want to send you to a little bit of a reminder about some new stuff going on with Mobile Legends Adventure.
سپانسرینگ بلای سعودی چه خط هوایی عربستانه؟ و بچه یه انیمه موبایل لجنده، نگاه چه کیفیت خفنی هم داره. یا بامیوان گوشم باورگوز تو گیم که صد گوشم میزنه. خب OBS World بشم Sports World Cup.
Hi, welcome back. The Indonesian powerhouses of Onyx just take a win over Turkey's representative Aurora Gaming. Big stakes on the line because Indonesia's last hope is basically going up against where the M Series will be hosted, which is in Istanbul. Both teams fighting to have a chance not only in the end of this series,
Aurora Serie A 7 برد دیگه.
but also for this
بگویی
moment right now. And it is up to this game 3 to see who's going to take the
تیم
lead.
ترک تیم واقعا قوی.
Guys, we have a couple minutes for the draft starts again.
بعدها ترکایی که به نظر
Indonesia, I want to
خوب
hit
بله.
even harder because it's 2019 they did it. 2023 they did it. It's 3 years apart. Can they do it again? Are they destined for this? We know that they are watching.
Yeah.
And this is a great start in game 2.
And it's not just Indonesia, I feel like Onyx as an organization and this lineup that they're looking at right now, apart from a couple changes here and there, have always been so close. They've had multiple instances in the past where in their international
اونیک
runs have
بنده
been great.
خدا
They've made it even all the
اونیک
way to the
آیدی
finals.
نه
I think
پیش
that was
پیش
also a
قهرمان
couple year
شدم
back,
سید
a couple
اونیک
years
آیدی تا
back.
حالا فکر کنم
The most
حدود
significant ones being, I believe,
7 تا سریز ام
M5, where they
بوده
just
تو
won with
5
ease.
تاش فینالیست بوده ولی یه دونه رو نگرفته.
Unfortunate loss against T-Falcons like that we also have right now. So who knows?
I even remember part of the draft. They have the
اصلا از اونیک آیدی اسم من بدشانس‌تر وجود نداره. فکر کن تو 7 تا سریز ام 5 تا
Well, best of 5
فینالیست
means
بودی
that
یه
this
دونه
is
رو
a decisive
نگرفتی.
blow. This is basically the end of the best of 3. We know they lost to a best of 3, but it did go down to 3. This is a repeat not just of that matchup, but of how that matchup went, where there was a response from Onyx. It was Aurora who would finish it off and end up in that higher upper bracket spot. But now all's fair in love and war. We're right back. It's one game that separates who's taking the lead, except there's still another chance to respond the fell. So I'll question to you, what is Aurora's response here now that
ولی
Onyx seem to
میکی
have
بود
figured them out yet again?
I feel like they try to get the Paquito as fast as possible because, again, Onyx has proven both times now, in the first time they met and then the second time, is that they can fight fire with fire. Like, if you want to play early game, we also can play early game. They're from Indonesia. Indonesia is known as a very chaotic, very fight-heavy region. They love drafts that require no items for you to really function. So I feel like Aurora has brought back Onyx to their roots of saying that just keep on fighting. Whatever happens, happens. Just trust your mechanics. And that's what they did. And that's how they won. So going back to what you guys said in the second draft, you got to go back to your own identity. So Aurora kind of pushed them to go back to their identity. And now it works out well.
But wasn't that Aurora's identity too, though? It was, I guess, maybe a bit too much of their identity.
Who has the stronger identity?
Okay, that's the thing.
Brigido.
Okay.
Do you have a strong identity?
Maybe.
All right.
We
maybe.
find out here, though, who has the stronger identity between these two. Because the
اوه
Paquito
بنا
is
رو
still
دوباره سلنا
open. We
فنی
mentioned it. I honestly
جوشین و اطلس رو بند دادن.
like gives over so much advantage. But let's
جوشین و اطلس رو بند دادن. یارا
Question that Aurora now are asking Onyx. Do you want to give us Paquito?
آرو فشار جوشین اطلس رو قشنگ حس
It would be an
کرد.
okay first pick because you'd still wonder, is this Siggy Boom gonna grab it?
و
Or is
ایرو
it
رو
gonna
بند
be
دادن.
something that Lunar plays in the EXP lane? Or could it even be something TNZ plays in the jungle?
I feel like either Barats or Paquito is going to be pretty good.
من طبق مچوب که من دیدم جانم بود باش او زنگ خورد تیمدی همه چی رفت به گو. خب این باگید بد باگید آه اینی گوشیم زنگ بخوره تمومه دیگه آه. وسط مچوب این مهمی
for Paquito is going to be pretty good here because again, both win
Aynen.
lane, and then that's kind of like what you need, right? Step 1, win lane. Step 2,
Geliyor.
and then they have
Wow.
Freya, and Freya can flex between EXP and gold.
Oh my, we missed this.
Zırzanım.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's always banned though.
Big Sana, you know,
İstediği rağa
should be
olsun.
okay.
Either are safe,
Ne
it's
oldu?
just probably a bit more safer for the Valentina. If it's just
Oy,
survivability
Barat
that you're
Seduro.
considering in the mid lane. Because I feel like there are just so many angles to play around with if you're looking at Aurora's first 3 picks, but they lock in a
What the
Farsa.
Farsa?
What the Farsa?
What the Farsa indeed.
Yeah.
Was played pretty well earlier, I think.
There's a lot of
yesterday.
burst here coming in from Onyx. So yeah, I think
Force
it's
of
just like
will
who
to
has
fall.
more firepower, right? Who has more damage, we will win. And now the Minotaur gets picked up as well as the Paquito.
Oh
so is it
my.
Paquito
Oh
jungle
my.
or Barat's jungle? Yeah, knowing Midnight, he might even throw Freya in the jungle.
Minotaur.
So we just don't entirely know the matchup here.
It's you can't tell.
I mean,
I think it's gonna be Paquito jungle though.
Just assume the worst possible
but why?
matchup.
But Sicky Boom played a great Paquito. Would you really force him off that if it's in? I mean,
What if TNZ's better? Didn't think
Could
that
be.
one, huh?
he could be. He could.
Jana.
We do for sure know it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Barat's EXP.
Because I feel like
Ara.
even if you don't like win it out through the Paquito, the Freya is still gonna do a relatively decent job. Is it the Lapu gold or an Esme gold? Lapu gold.
Well,
Nice.
again, like this is why they don't ban out the Harley because they're like, yeah, you know what? You want to fight fire with fire? Well, we
No
got
way.
Suns as well as Kyrie coming in with the Nolan as well as Farsa. That's a lot of burst damage.
It's a lot of team fight. It's a team fight
It's what the
lineup.
Farsa.
What the Farsa and the AoEs too. Minotaur and Belleric. Just imagine what could happen when it comes to the team fights.
Siggy Boom will take the Freya in gold. Lunar will be on the Barats as well. It'll be a Paquito jungle from TNZ. Oh man, game 3 could be where things start to shift for 2 regions desperately fighting for a chance at the semifinal. The bid is on the line. Best of 5, game 3. Send it back to Naisu and Gideon.
The world has demanded for bloodshed, and today we are going to get here at game number 3. This is going to be spicy because both compositions want to get into your face. They all want to do one thing and find that first blood as we jump right into it. Aurora, for those of you tuning in, is going to be on blue side, facing up against Onyx on the red.
Yep. I like that how they went through this draft. Whoa, Sans. Okay, concussive blast and that little jump through from Baku. Enough damage to send him back. He doesn't burn the Purify at least.
At the very least here, but at least Pagu now gets to walk into enemy territory for free, and not to mention they're playing on their strong side. Lunar already generating a lead of his own, and Pagu takes like no damage.
Whoa!
Dead.
Holy moly! I think, you know,
Personel de
I was
oro.
expecting that early on, first blood.
And all of that, why? Because unfortunately for Sans, he just took too much damage. And
Yeah.
now they're going to start pressing their lead to the opposite side. This is the early game that Aurora is most well known for. And now that TNZ is on this Paquito, and he's already level 3, he does some real damage.
Oh man, they're not letting up too. Again, playing around this pressure that Aurora Gaming has already secured themselves in the first couple minutes of the game. Trying to slow down Kyrie here a bit, but I think Onyx can go ahead and kind of readjust from this. Maybe even potentially. I mean, there's still 30 seconds for that turtle to come up. They can just kind of let that go if they have to, but knowing Onyx, they probably won't just give it up for free, even despite the pressure they're feeling this early on.
Yeah, absolutely not. They need to contest for this. I mean, this really depends on whether Sans actually hits level 4, right? Because he's the secondary win condition in this early game next to Kyrie. And even as we see this game progress, because of that early recall and the control we're seeing from Aurora, now Kyrie is like, man, this early game might not be in my hands.
Yeah, now it's Kyrie asking for the green camp control, man. You know, trying to protect these. Right now is Aurora.
Come on.
Doesn't let up. They do get the retribution out, though. So I guess that is going to be the decision by Onyx, especially since Kyrie's on level 4. Let's just give up this first turtle, give it to Aurora. They've won it by just how much pressure they put on. Oh, a big slam through into the wall. Loopy gone after Daytona's welcome. Keyboy could be next series, just going to be zoned out. Nope, the 1-2 punch comes through and Lunar picks up a kill.
The autopilot here. Let's not forget that Aurora just seems to be more well-connected overall, and it seems like Onyx, they needed to regroup, but unfortunately Lukby just took the wrong path and did not want to commit his ult. I think moments like that gets really, really difficult for Onyx. Now, Sigaboom, he's more than happy. He unfortunately is in the losing matchup, but he doesn't mind as long as he's not losing out on gold or EXP. Kelra can try and lock this lane for as long as he wants, but if we do see that Sigaboom's rotating consistently, he should be able to get mid waves as well.
Yeah, and as you just saw, that's such a good kind of like a counter that Pagu has against that feathered airstrike, obviously with the Minotaur, you know, and if it's once he has the Flask of the Oasis and it kind of helps buff up that sustainability that comes with that motivational Aurora, you can then just kind of follow up with the mini jump, but then the ultimate, right, that he has that it just can set things up and stop Onyx's main game plan, which is playing around this Farsa's damage kit into a Rathodride, into setting things up for the Nolan on Kyrie to follow through. We've seen the burst damage before, but even on the other side, the counter to that is Tienzi. This Paquito jungle, which most of us have seen in the gold lane. Hold on, Lunar, okay, he's gonna try to get away. Feathered airstrike dropped down, but he's tanky enough to survive it. Just with the Daytona's welcome.
Didn't seem like the most optimal choice overall. I get it if Lunar didn't have the stacks, but once he builds up on those stacks, he's actually comparable to like 1.5 of Lapu, right?
Yeah.
I think that should be the ratios that should be in their head. I think they were assuming that Kyrie was going to do a little bit more damage.
Okay,
He's already 2
gol
levels
doğru
down, right? He's
Jule.
basically the same level as Lutfi, and even Lutfi knows for a fact that he can't chunk Lunar for more than half of his HP, and even then, we're asking for a lot. Overall, this has been a really great start for Aurora as they've controlled the entire bottom side, and it's unlucky that it spawns back down to the bottom side once more.
Yeah, right now, Aurora Gaming is basically just kind of coasting on through this early portion of the game. Second turtle's going to be up here, though, so we'll see if this time Onyx wants to possibly fight both mid laners, picking up the glowing wands here. Again, this Eudora been such a mainstay in the meta currently, and you see why. You know, the multiple stuns that you can kind of dish out, the damage, the poke that you can do, that burst on such a kind of low cooldown is a problem. Tienzi also picking up a Sky Piercer now on that jungle Paquito. Turtle's up.
I don't think we can do this here. They're thinking about it, but he's leveled down onto TNZ, and I'm pretty sure that TNZ can just hold on.
Esmeralda از بالا تا پایین دنبال فریو اومد.
They're going to force this fight. Kelra on Sigaboom, though. Sigaboom trying to get away. Meanwhile, Lunar's the one to fall. The team fight's going all wrong for Aurora. Sands. There's the what the Farsa. 2 kills now, double, and that's going to be a turtle for Onyx.
A really nice play, a great interception coming in from Onyx here, making sure that at least they're dropping down their abilities on the right targets. Like Lunar set it up pretty nicely. However, unless TNZ finds
دوباره ادوانتج اسمرالداشون داره فایترشون رو میقاپه. وای.
Good punish there, because I was going to say Kyrie could not get away with that after everything Onyx did, but mind you, that whole interaction has now stopped the gold lead that was building for Aurora Gaming. It was about 2,000. That's been pretty much dealt with. Kelra won't get this turret just yet, but he does do quite a bit of damage.
یه تیم فایت گلد رو برگردوندن. انگار رنگ دوشه عقب بودم.
Like first turtle, okay, Sigaboom walks out of it, you notice that he's only level 3, and that's when you know, like, okay, sure, he probably doesn't need to be there, but at the same time, you never really know what's going through Aurora's mind, especially what they're willing to risk. And I think that's the problem that Onyx has been facing these past couple of games. They're not 100% sure whether Aurora is willing to die for certain moments in these games to get a little bit more later on. But now that the Feather Airstrike has been used early, they are making the statement, you know what? As long as Sigaboom doesn't scale, TNZ will eventually fall off.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, too, that I guess the downside... Oh, hold on. Kelra. He wants this turret. Aurora Gaming wants Kelra. Falling Star Moon, a bit of a burst of damage to Kelra. Be able to survive. Is there going to be a counter punch here from Onyx? They just make sure Kelra
survives. Fucking Esmeralda.
Right on cue. Into 2. Lunar now going to be in trouble.
ماشینم برداشته و داره جواب میده. این فریو رو گرفته تو مشتش.
Gaming was going to continue to fight, but they decided to go for it.
They made a mistake there for sure. Kelra played it perfectly, using his Purify to ensure that they don't find the one-shot and sets it up for something more dangerous down the line. This is what I'm talking about. This is a game of boxing here. Let's look at the replay one more time, because as soon as Keyboy, this looked like a very good punish from Aurora until Lutfi says, you know what? As long as the damage dealer can't actually go for their full combo, which they know that Rosa doesn't have, this should be a free pick on to Lunar. And they know for a fact that Bravest Fighter, it's on a short cooldown. cooldown, so they can just drag this out and wait until Lutfi has it. Aurora trying to punish.
Lunar needs the stacks. Daytona's welcome, already used. Fighting off the turret. Pagu jumping in. Minoy and Fury to knock up 3. Keyboy's gone. But a feathered airstrike comes down from Sans. And now, Luffy flickering forward. Trying to zone out Tenzi. He's swinging around here. He's going to fight off Siggy Boom.
قربه پنج خوب نگه داشته اونیش ولی اوف ریدم تو پوکیتو. اوف شایری هم کچ شد.
Here to clean him up, and Kelra falls. It all falls apart for Onyx.
Oh no. Worst case scenario for Onyx. Aurora able to find the lead back again, and worst yet, they're able to take out a majority of the members of Onyx, pulling themselves to the lead that they had before. Now, just an extra 400 gold.
حالا سکه یقب افتادن. هر تیم فایتی که میخورن کلا بازی جابجا میشه.
But let's look at the items because we're at a dangerous state. They're looking to make sure that TNZ is strong enough to one-shot Sans at every point of the game. But TNZ, keep in mind, that's solely based on the Sky Piercer.
Man, TNZ has done an amazing job just kind of farming up here. You know, yes, he's got 4 kills, but even with that Sky Piercer, and you see the gold lead that he's had. And a lot of that is supplemented because of the way that Aurora Gaming has played the map, you know, from the start to up to now at that 9-minute mark, which will set themselves up for a good Lord take. But Onyx has showed us that they're willing to fight. A lot of these team fights are kind of weird the way they play out, right? Because it's either going to be started up by Lunar, burst coming through, divine
لاپوه.
but either Lunar will start up, or Onyx can kind of go ahead and choose to start.
لاپو داشت وان شات میشد. دورا چرا انقدر
with that flicker combination we're used to seeing. So it's got to come from someone else, and mostly it's been from Lutfi flickering forward, trying to set up, or trying to just keep things split up in these team fights. And that's why they're so finicky with the way they play it out.
And that's why I say this is like a boxing match, right? As much as you want to throw your lead hand out with a big haymaker, you also have to keep in mind that Aurora could be throwing their own haymaker. Wait a second, Keyboy!
Keyboy, what's he doing? He's gonna get eaten up here. Rosa's gone though. Kelra now splitting up the fight. There's a stun on the mark. Minoy and Fury knock him in the air. Sans in trouble though. Can't get away from Siggy Boom. And now in the form, he's going to be splitting up Kyrie and Luffy from the fight while Keyboy's got nowhere to go. A proc on the Sky Piercer. Looking to clean up more under the tier 2 tower. A double for TNZ. More stacks for this Paquito. And now they take down the tier 2 turret. Kelra. He's tanky enough. He should be fine. He'll just clear out the waves.
Yeah, he is not worried at all, but the rest of his team does not have that same grace. And Sigaboom has been playing an amazing Freya, a losing matchup, and yet watch this, right? As they were playing this fight, they recognize, hey, no feathered airstrike. They also lost the Wrath of the Dryads, and that's when they decided to throw everything. Even Sans recognizing, hey, I gotta use the Purifier to get away from a flicker and rage charge coming in from Pagu, but it doesn't matter when Sigaboon has stuck on to the rest of your team, cutting you down one by one with no way to stop you. The lack of CC is going to be a huge issue.
Hold on. Daytona's welcome use on live cam. Kelra gonna be in trouble again. And Minoy and Fury knocking him in the air. Keyboy can't get away. Once again, Siggy Boom leading the charge of the Valkyrie form. A big stun comes through from Luffy, though. Able to stop them in their tracks, but he gets dropped back by the Rockets. But Onyx, they want to fight back. Kyrie trying to get away with Lunar. Not enough damage on the stomp there, that auto attack. Not going to be able to take out Kyrie, but man, what a fight in the jungle.
This is a beautiful game here. Despite being 5.6k ahead, Aurora lose out on Sigabo in comparison to Keyboy. An upward trade for Onyx, but the economic damage is not done just yet. Another structure falls in the favor of Aurora. Another buff taken away from Kyrie. He's struggling this game. He's 1-4-4, and every single person he wants to go for the kill has some form of damage reduction, has some form of anti-CC, or worse yet, just raw sustainability.
Yep, really good play there from Onyx because of the fact that they took out Sigabo in the last fight. They pretty much alleviate that damage that Lord push would have done. Again, you're just seeing, despite being down these thousands of gold, Onyx somehow is still able to actually go toe-to-toe in the team fight against Aurora Gaming here. And now for them, again, they have to look at what's their best angle? What's the best attack plan here for them? And especially when it comes to the jungle, because Aurora Gaming has not let up on this as they continuously try to take these buffs. Again, Daytona's welcome, throwing him into the wall. Keyboy, it's going to be, again, the focus. A feathered airstrike to follow through. And now Singing Bomb on the back line. He's just everywhere. Sound's got nowhere to go. Forget the turret, forget everyone else. Aurora Gaming will just go for this fight, tossing everyone around. And they just go full on wipeout against Sonic. And that's going to get Aurora Gaming this game under their belt, taking the series 2-1.
The one extra detail is what makes Sigma one of the best Freyas here in this competition. When he fights, he's already looking ahead of the map thinking, you know what, I can't 1v5, but if there's just enough minions, I will be able to sustain through the damage with my Descent of the Valkyries to have the extra AoE per auto attack, which is why you're seeing go from 0 to 100, 0 to 100 every single time. A dangerous game that Onyx is playing here, and one that they need to figure out right here, right now. There's too many holes in that trap.
Hacı
Last time he was
benim
missing that Atlas. Now,
vertical
dealing with
lecim
Freyja
ben
seems to
ona.
be impossible. The idea
وای اونیک داره میبازه. تو یکی از اوراق